Eli Mercer shoved through the staff-only hatch, the metal scraping his shoulder as ceremony horns blared behind him. Protocol drones clogged the main hall, their chants droning like faulty engines. He needed air, a shortcut, anything to deliver the ambassador's revised speech before the Queen's address imploded. The hatch clanged shut. Steam hit him first, thick and herbal, curling from a vast chamber lit by bioluminescent veins in the walls. Marble pools steamed under arched ceilings. He froze mid-step. Queen Salith Vare turned from the central bath, water sluicing off her iridescent scales. Naked, not alone. Behind a translucent steam screen, a robed figure, Sivrin Call, the royal alchemist priest, held a glowing vial to her neck, her multifaceted eyes locked on Eli's. Sivrin's hood slipped, revealing a syringe glinting in his grip. Eli's heart slammed. He yanked his towel from his belt, standard issue for human staff, sweating through Varen humidity, and thrust it forward like a white flag. Your Majesty, human protocol. I apologize profusely. Back away slowly, and offer this as restitution for my idiocy. I took a wrong turn, escaping the backlog. Won't happen again. Salith's tail flicked. Splashing water. She didn't cover herself. Her scales shifted from silver to warning crimson. With a hiss, she slapped a palm against a wall panel, rammed stone ground shut behind Eli, sealing the chamber. No guards rushed in, no alarms wailed. Sivrin melted into the steam, vial vanishing under his robes, gone. Translator Mercer, Salith said, voice like polished obsidian. She stepped from the pool, water sheeting off her lit form. Taller than Eli by a head, curves armored in natural plating. You burst into the sanctum of renewal, described exactly what you saw behind the screen, word for word, or, I summon Kethro to dissect your error. Eli swallowed, eyes glued to her face. Human training kicked in. Assess, de-escalate, document. Ma'am, you were in the bath. Steam screen partially obscured. Sivrin Qual approached from the left alcove. He held a crystal vial glowing blue, injected it into your neck. Subdermal, maybe 2 cc's. You tensed, then relaxed. He whispered something about the right's purity. That's it. No details on the fluid. I'm not a spy. Just a contractor fixing comms glitches the palace swears don't exist. Her eyes narrowed, facets gleaming. She snatched the towel, draping it over one shoulder, not for modesty, Ellie realized, but to test its absorbency against her scales. Honest, blunt. Humans do that. She circled him, tail brushing his boot. The air hummed with tension, her scent, spice and ozone, filling his lungs. This rite is forbidden knowledge. Vayrans guard it with death. Why enter here shortcut? Eli kept his hands visible, palms up. Goal. Exit. Without a diplomatic crater. Ceremonies backed up. Drones reciting lineage for hours. Ambassador's speech needs tweaks. Your court's dialect shifts mid-sentence. I mapped staff tunnels last week. This one's unmarked. My bad. Salith paused, inches away. Her breath warmed his cheek. You map without permission. Fixed non-existent problems. Now you witness the Queen's renewal. She touched the injection site on her neck, scales flaring faintly. Sivrin controls the elixir. Without it, I weaken, die. Eli blinked. Problem-solving mode engaged. Poison? Addiction? Her laugh scraped like dry leaves. Necessary. Vayran queens shed venom seasonally. Builds in the blood. Elixir neutralizes it. Sivrin's monopoly. She leaned closer, voice dropping. But tonight's dose burned. Wrong compound. He smiled through it. Conspiracy alarm bells rang in Ellie's head. Sabotage. Who's he working with? The door unsealed with a grind. Kethro strode in, robes swirling, eyes like data chips. Intruder. Human. You violate sanctum law. Captain Vaska, restrain him. Vaska Jern followed, blaster drawn but low. Her scales bore security scars. She glanced at Salith, then Eli. Chamberlain, the humans cleared for inner halls. Staff shortcut. Kethro's mandibles clicked. Irrelevant. He saw the right. Execute protocol. Mind wipe or exile. Salith raised a hand. No. Mercer stays. He describes truthfully. Sivrin fled. Did you note? Kethro stiffened. Priest Qual departed for his lab. Routine. Eli stepped forward, ignoring the blaster. Routine doesn't match. I saw the syringe glow blue. Standard elixirs green. Dr. Sato confirmed during xenobiology briefings. Test the site, Your Majesty. If it's off, you've got a coup brewing. Vaska's blaster twitched toward Kethro. Evidence? Salith nodded to a side basin. Scan it, Captain. Mercer's words demand verification. Kethro's scales paled. Majesty, this human soused out. Protocol. Overrides protocol. Salith's tail coiled around Eli's ankle, pulling him closer. Forced proximity hit like a gravity well. Her warmth seeped through his uniform. He stumbled in. Offers truth. You? Alibis? Vaska knelt by the basin, pulling a portable analyzer. It beeped. Red light flashed. Blue residue. Neurotoxin variant. Slow acting. Lethal in days. Kethro bolted for the door. Vaska fired a stun bolt. Clean hit. He crumpled. Eli exhaled. Teamwork. Now what? Lockdown? Salith's eyes softened, facets reflecting his face. You turned humiliation to salvation. Humans, fix without fanfare. Her hand grazed his arm, lingering. Stay. Help me root this out. Intimate quarters. No incidents. Eli nodded, pulse racing. Dr. Nima Sato burst in next, kit in hand, summoned by Vaska's ping. Eli, what's the crisis? Poisoned queen. Eli said. Analyze the vial traces. Sivrin's lab first. Nima knelt by Salith, scanner humming. Taboo right? Fascinating. Scales show stress markers. Human honesty protocol worked, kept her calm. Salith watched Eli, tail still looped around his leg. Cultural exchange begins now. You saw me bare. I trust your gaze. Heat crept up Eli's neck. Romance in a coup? Fish out of water didn't cover it, but problems needed fixing. Goal, survival. Conflict, conspirators. Outcome, alliance. Kethro groaned awake under Vaska's boot. The priest, he promised stability. Silith's scales flared gold. Approval. Confess all, Chamberlain. Mercer listens without judgment. Eli pulled a comms pad, recording. Honest words built bridges, even naked ones. Vaska hauled Kethro up. To the cells. Sivrin's next. As they dragged him out, Salith pulled Eli toward a side alcove. Drying robes, privacy screens. Your towel saved more than face. Share human rights, build trust. Eli grinned, handing her a spare shirt from his pack. Starts with coffee, or whatever neutralizes venom. Her laugh echoed, intimate in the steam. Outside, palace intrigue boiled. Inside, a cross-species bond ignited. But Sivrin's lab held more vials, blue ones. And a manifest naming allies. The coup was just beginning. Salith's claws dug into Eli's wrist. She yanked him behind the steam screen, her tail whipping steam into curls. The royal bath pulsed around them, living walls of bioluminescent moss, veins throbbing faint blue. Look, she hissed, pointing at a fist-sized growth embedded in the bath wall. It quivered, tendrils probing the water like seeking fingers. Eli crouched, eyes narrowing. No time for protocol. He pulled a travel pH strip from his kit, habit from off-world gigs. Dipped it in the steaming pool. The strip flushed acidic red. Venom traces. He pocketed a sample vial, sucking up water despite the hiss of taboo air. The growth spasmed. A hidden drain clicked open beneath the vial, sucking like a vacuum maw. Eli jerked back. Vial clutched tight. Water swirled. Hungry. Salith's scales bristled silver. She grabbed his wrist harder, slamming it against her chest plate. Swear silence. Under my personal seal. Her eyes locked his. Gold slits dilating. Vulnerability cracked her royal mask. Eli nodded once. Sworn. Now explain. He capped the vial, slipping it into his sealed pouch. Human fix-it mode engaged. No judgment, just solutions. She released him, tail coiling around his ankle for balance. Forced proximity in the steam haze. The right cleanses. Sivrin's growths maintain it. But this one hungers wrong. Her voice dropped. It poisoned me mid-ritual. Scales itched fire. Eli scanned the wall. Growth pulsed faster. Tendrils inching toward the drain. Sample safe. Test it neutralizes first. He pulled his comms pad, linking to Nima's secure channel. No palace net. Too compromised. Footsteps echoed outside the screen. Kethro's voice, oily smooth. Majesty. The Chamberlain seeks audience. Urgently. Salith stiffened. Eli pressed finger to lips. Her tail tightened on his leg. Trust signal? Heat flushed his skin. Not just steam. Enter, she called, shoving Eli deeper into shadow. Her robe draped loose, scales gleaming wet. Kethro swept in, robes whispering. The human translator vanished. Palace protocol demands. Stumbles happen, Salith cut in. He translates now. Speak. Eli stayed silent, vial burning in his pocket. Goal. Buy time. Conflict. Chamberlain's eyes darted to the growth. Kethro smiled thin. Sivrin reports the right flawless. Stability assured. His gaze lingered on the wall. Though... anomalies. The growth lurched. A tendril snapped out, grazing Kethro's hem. He flinched. Color draining. Bailiff's tail squeezed Eli's calf. Signal received. Mercer, your assessment? Eli stepped forward, casual. Waters off HH, human standard, rebalance or isolate. He tapped the pad, sending encrypted ping to Vasca's security line. Backup incoming. Kethro's spines flared. Taboo. Outsider touches sacred. Outsider saves queen, Salith snapped. Her hand brushed Eli's arm, lingering. Cultural exchange sparked. Alarms wailed distant. Vasca burst through doors, blaster drawn. Intruder alert. Chamberlain, stand down. Chaos erupted. Kethro lunged for the growth, claws extended. Eli tackled him mid-air. Pure reflex earth-wrestling hold. They crashed into steam. Vial safe. Salith's cry pierced. The drain. It gaped wider, tendrils whipping. Vasca fired stun bolt, sizzling moss. Eli pinned Kethro, zip-cuffing wrists. Talk. Who feeds it? Stability, Kethro gasped. Sivrin promised. Nema arrived, scanner whirring. She knelt by Salith, ignoring steam. Your Majesty. Scales elevated, venom confirmed. She glanced at Eli, pH stripped genius. Lab constraints solved. Salith rose, robe clinging, tail unwound from Eli's leg, reluctant. Mercer saw bare truth. Human honesty disarms. Eli stood, brushing wet from shirt. Heat lingered where tail touched. Fish out of water? More like dive in head first. Vasca hauled Kethro up. Cells. Sivrin next. But the growth pulsed brighter. Blue veins spread across wall. Eli's pad beeped. Nema's prelim. Synthetic accelerant, not natural. Salith pulled him aside. Alcove shadows, drying robes hung limp. Your towel saved face earlier. Now, share more. Her claws traced his pouch, intimate. Eli handed spare shirt, starts practical. Coffee neutralizes jitters. Venom, antidote next. Her laugh bubbled, scales flushing rose. Romance amid coup, her gaze held his. Trust forged in steam. Outside, Vasca reported. Manifest found. Blue vials in Sivrin's lab. Allies named. Eli's jaw tightened. Goal. Expose conspiracy. Conflict. Palace loyalists. Outcome. Alliance deepening. Salith leaned close, breath warm on neck. Stay. Forced proximity builds empires. He nodded. Human normal. Fix. Adapt. Bond. Aliens marveled, but Drain gurgled again. Something slithered deeper. Sivrin's voice echoed hall. Majesty. Right demands. Door sealed. Trap sprung. Eli drew scanner. Time for human right. Dissect the lie. Salith's hand found his. Claws gentle. Cross-species spark ignited. They moved as one toward the growth. Tendrils reared. Vasca covered door. Nema prepped injector. Kethro sneered from cuffs. Too late. Bath lives for us now. Eli pried a tendril-free vial syncing data. pH off. Accelerant high. It's programmed. Sabotage. Salith's eyes widened. Sivrin's control. Pounding fists outside. Open. Priest's orders. Forced proximity peaked. Eli's back to wall. Salith shielding him. Her scales brushed arm electric. Swear again, she whispered. Alliance eternal. Sworn. His free hand covered hers. Practical turned personal. Nema injected counteragent. Growth shriveled drained ceiling with hiss. Victory small. Blue vials waited. Vasca kicked door prop. Clear? Eli pocketed growth shard, evidence mounted. Salith straightened. Queen reborn. To lab. Unmask them. Tail flicked Eli's hand. Promise. Palace corridors hummed tension. Guards parted wary. Sivrin waited in right chamber. Vials glowing blue. Smile too wide. Intruders, he purred. Right purifies. Eli held vial up. Tests say poison. Sivrin lunged. Vaska downed him. Manifest spilled. Kethro. Guards. Nobles. Coup core. Salith read. Rage gold. Traitors. Eli logged all. Honest record built case. Nima analyzed blue vial. Matches bath accelerant. Slow kill. Salith turned to Eli. Private gaze. You stumbled in. Fixed all. Cultural misunderstanding, he said. My normal. Her laugh intimate. Our extraordinary. Cells filled. Alliance sealed. But manifest end. Off-world buyer. Bigger threat. Eli's pad pinged Earth Command. Report incoming. Together. Human nod. Together. Human nod. Bond unbreakable. Bath's secret saved Queen. Honesty sparked romance. Conspiracy cracked, not broken. Door to cells creaked. Sivrin's whisper. Buyer comes. Hook set. Alliance armed. Sivrin burst through the steam-veiled archway, robes swirling like venomous smoke. 4 guards flanked him, crystal spears leveled. Contamination, the alchemist priest snarled, golden eyes locking on Eli. Human filth defiles the sacred rite. Detain him. Eli froze knee-deep in the bath chamber's heated pool. Mist clung to his skin, thick with floral toxins that burned his throat. Queen Salith floated before him. Her iridescent scales dulled under the wall growth's pulsing vines. The sacred cleansing writhed across the stone like living ropes, coiling tighter around her neck and torso. She'd invited him closer moments ago. Cultural exchange, she'd called it, after his accidental stumble through the private door. Now her tail thrashed weakly. Stand down, outsider. The guard lunged, spear tip grazing Eli's arm. Salith's gills flared. She tried to speak, but the vines squeezed. Her body arched, claws scraping tile. Choking gasps bubbled from her mouth, blue foam flecking her lips. Eli's gut twisted. Not a right. Strangulation. She's dying. He shoved the guard's spear aside, boots slipping on slick stone. The man staggered, but 2 more closed in. Sivrin's smile sharpened. The growth purifies. Your touch poisons her further. Seize him. No time. Eli barreled forward, shoulder slamming the nearest guard's chest plate. Armor clanged. The Veyron toppled into the pool with a splash. Hot water surged over Eli's waist as he reached Salith. Vines pulsed, thorns drawing beads of her violet blood. Queen, breathe out. Eli wrapped his arms around her midsection from behind, hands locking just below her rib scales. Human Heimlich, adapted on the fly. Her body was denser, cooler than expected, scales rasping his forearms like chilled silk. He thrust inward and upward, sharp, twice. She convulsed. A vine snapped free, whipping his cheek. Blood welled, but he held. Again. Cough it out. Push. Guards hesitated, spears hovering. Sivrin barked. Kill the intruder. Protect the right. Salith heaved. Blue foam sprayed. A thick tendril loosened from her throat with a wet rip. She sucked in air, rasping, alive. Her tail coiled around Eli's leg instinctively, anchoring him as she slumped against his chest. The chamber fell silent save for dripping water and her labored breaths. Eli didn't release her yet. Clear? He checked her gills. Flaring pink now, oxygen flowing. She nodded, claws digging into his wrist. Not pain, gratitude. Sivrin stepped forward, vials glinting in his palm. Majesty, this human. Enough. Salith's voice cut like crystal chimes, weak but commanding. She straightened in Eli's hold, vines shriveling back into the wall at her glare. Steam parted as she faced the room. More figures crowded the archway. Courtiers, Kethro the chamberlain clutching his ledger, even Vaska Jurin with her security detail. Eyes widened. Whispers rippled. Salith's tail tightened on Eli's leg, a private squeeze, before uncoiling. She rose from the pool, water sheeting off her scales, naked vulnerability, but her posture screamed sovereignty. This human witnessed the truth. He acted. Sivrin, your arrest order dies here. Sivrin paled, vials clinking. But the contamination lies. She extended a hand to Eli. Rise, Eli Mercer. I name you attached aide, bound to my service. No protocol denies you now. Eli took her hand, palm to scaled knuckles. Warmth sparked where flesh met scale, electric, mutual. He stood beside her, dripping, unarmed among spears. Courtiers gasped. Kethro's pen scratched furiously. Boscajuran shouldered forward, eyes flicking between Sivrin and the shriveled vines. Majesty? Evidence? Salith's gaze pinned Sivrin. The growth. Test it. My aide commands the enquiry. Eli nodded. Practical as ever. Sample the thorns. Blue residue. Matches the foam. Not sacred. Slow poison. Sivrin backed away. Blasphemy. The right is eternal. Guards shifted uneasily. Voska's hand rested on her stun rod. Stand down, priest. Queen's word. Eli plucked a thorn from the wall, careful of the barbs. It pulsed faintly in his fingers. Alive, malevolent. He pocketed it. Lab analysis next. Doctor, Sato's on call. Salith's scales brushed his arm as she leaned close. You saw my secret. Saved me. Her whisper carried heat, gold eyes intimate amid the crowd. Cultural misunderstanding, Eli murmured back. My normal fix problems. Her laugh hummed low, tail flicking his calf. Humans. Extraordinary. Kethro cleared his throat. Majesty, protocol demands. Salith swept from the pool, robes materializing from attendants. She draped one over Eli's shoulders, silk, scented. Aide Mercer escorts me. Now, courtiers parted. Sivrin's glare burned, but Vaska's guards hemmed him in. Eli matched her stride down the corridor, heart pounding. Palace hummed, servos whirring distant chants. Her presence drew stares, but her claim shielded him. Forced proximity, scales to skin. You stumbled into my bath, she said softly. No one near enough to hear. Fate. Bad door map. Eli grinned. Honest, glad I did. Her tail looped his wrist briefly. Promise, alliance begins. They reached the antechamber. Dr. Nima Sato waited, kit open, calm as a lab bench. Samples? Eli tossed the thorn. Accelerant, test fast. Nima nodded. Scanner beeping. On it. Human ingenuity. Solves taboos. Salith watched Eli, not the tech. Stay close, aide. More vines lurk. Vaska reported in. Sivrin detained for questioning. Kethro's ledger. Odd entries. Eli logged it on his pad. Transparent record. Build the case. No assumptions. Tension coiled. Courtiers whispered of human hands on Queen. Romance rumors sparked already. Salith pulled him aside. Private alcove. Her claws traced his thorn-cut cheek. Pain? He covered her hand. Worth it. Scales flushed violet. Swear loyalty. Sworn. Practical vow. Personal heat. Door hissed. Kethro entered. Face ashen. Manifest intercepted. Coup plot. Sivrin's network, but off-world buyer. Salith's eyes hardened. Names? Redacted. Coming for you. Eli's pad pinged. Earth command alert. Bigger threat loomed. Her tail circled his waist. Together? He nodded. Bond sealed. Conspiracy cracked wide. Buyer inbound. Kethro slammed his ledger shut. Aide Mercer, you shadow the Queen. Effective now. Eli straightened. Salith's tail still coiled around his waist. The Chamberlain's eyes flicked to the contact. Predatory gleam. Tracker implant. Kethro said. He snatched Eli's badge, pressed a claw into the alloy back. A faint click hummed. Palace standard. Logs every step. Salith uncoiled, scales rippling silver. Necessary. Dismissed, Chamberlain. Kethro bowed low, retreated. Door hissed shut. Eli rubbed his badge. Spyware? Insurance.
Salith gripped his arm.
Drills start. She marched him into the grand hall. Courtiers parted like mist. Whispers chased them. Human skin on royal scales. Eli's boots echoed on marble. Salith halted at the throne dais. Bow one. Palms flat. Eyes down. Practice. Eli dipped forward. Palms hit thighs wrong. Too casual. Gasps rippled. A shadow shifted in the balcony. Watcher. Again. Balith's voice cracked like a whip. Eli bowed deeper. Fingers splayed perfect. Her nod approved. Good. Now two. Tail salute. Mimic. No tail. He crouched, arm curved behind. Laughter bubbled from a cluster of nobles. Another shadow. Corridor arch. Eli filed it. Third watcher today. Flawed. Salith circled him. Claws tapping his shoulder. Humans adapt. Show me. He twisted, palm upturned like her tail demos. Better. Her scales flushed faint violet. Passable. Walk beside. Heel touch. Eli matched her stride. His boot brushed her tail tip. Accidental. Courtiers froze. A hooded figure melted into a side door. Bait taken. Enough. Salith waved servants forward. Trays clattered. Fruit. Vials. Dismissed till eve. Map the vines. Eli nodded, slipped to a alcove table. Servants chattered past, schedule spilling. West wing scrub at third bell. East vents clear post-feast. He grabbed a napkin, charcoal stub from his pocket. Grid lines scratched fast. Halls crossed, doors marked. Overheard routes, snaked in. Servant paths blue. Patrols red. Blind spots starred. Vent access, thrown undercroft. Footsteps padded behind. Dr. Nima Sato leaned in, scanner tucked under arm. Thorn results. Sivrin's accelerant binds to royal scales. Slow poison. Queen needs antidote. Your map helps delivery. Eli tapped a star. Blind spot here. Slip it in. Nima's eyes widened. Human grids. Precise. Sivrin's ledgers match. Missing vials. Share with Vaska. Eli folded the napkin, pocketed it. Horns blared. Council call. Salith swept past later. Eli at heel. Hallways blurred. Gold filigree. Incense haze. Her tail brushed his hand. Signal. Watchers multiply. 3 today. Eli murmured. Bait worked. Council chamber loomed. Nobles bowed as she entered. Eli halted at the fringe. Royal furniture now. Stationary. Silent. Every eye probed him. Salith debated trade pacts. Voices droned. Kethro's ledger cited. Sivrin's absence noted. Eli scanned. Vaska at the door, jaw tight. Captain's gaze locked on him. Debate broke. Salith rose. Aid. Attend. Eli stepped forward. Bow botched. Elbow clipped a tray. Fruit rolled. Laughter erupted. Balcony shadow leaned closer. Clumsy mammal. A noble sneered. Salith's claws flexed. My choice. Out. Corridor swallowed them. Vaska blocked the turn. Armor clanking. Mercer. Now. Eli halted. Salith's nod released him. Truth human. Why elevate you? Vaska loomed. Frills flared. Security threat. Eli met his gaze. Stumbled into bath. Saw the ritual. Thorn poison. Helped. Vaska's eyes narrowed. Queen's secret? You? Team effort. Eli pulled the napkin grid. Routes here. Blind spots marked. Sivrin's network. Check east vents. Vaska snatched it. Scanned. Frills twitched. Impressed. Human. Maps palace blind. No drone? Ear on. Honest fix. Ellie shrugged. Nima's tests confirm accelerant. Vaska crumpled the napkin. Kethro pushed your badge. Tracker pings odd off-world signal. Eli's badge warmed. Buyer inbound. Sivrin sold the formula. Vaska gripped his shoulder. Hard. Loyalty? To evidence. Eli tapped the badge. Log it all. Transparent. Vaska released. Queen chooses well. But whispers grow. Your skin on her scales. Scandal. Forced proximity. Eli grinned. Solves problems. Vaska snorted. Waved him on. Back to her. I verify. Eli jogged to catch Salith. She waited in a side garden. Vines curling thorns. Mockery. Vaska. Grid. Sold him. Tracker suspect. Eli handed the crumpled napkin. Your Chamberlain? Salith's tail lashed. Possible. Drills resume tomorrow. Botch more. Draw them out. Eli nodded. Her claw traced his badge. Human honesty. Cuts deeper than claws. Heat built. Scales to skin. He covered her hand. Practical alliance. Her eyes softened. Violet flush deepened. More. Servants approached. Schedules again. Eli ear on. Kethro's wing sealed. Off-world ship docks dawn. Salith tensed. Buyer lands. Prepare. Eli's pad pinged. Nima's alert. Antidote vial ready. Blind spot star glowed in his mind. Horns blared. Might council. They moved as one. Throne room filled. Kethro stood central. Ledger open. Manifest cleared, Majesty. Trade ally arrives. Salith sat. Eli at her side. Furniture rigid. Badge hummed. Tracker live. A new face entered. Off-world envoy. Robes hiding bulk. Eyes on the queen. Whispers peaked. Human pet guards her. Eli bowed fraction off. Noble hissed. Balcony shadow dropped a hood. Sivrin's acolyte. Salith's tail looped Eli's ankle under the dais. Signal. Her voice rang. Aide Mercer, report anomalies. Courtiers gasped. Eli stood. Servant routes logged. East vents blind. Tracker and badge pings off-world. Kethro paled. Lies. Vaska burst in, cuffs ready. Grid confirms. Sivrin's vial cache. Empty. Chaos erupted. Envoy bolted. Eli lunged. Tackle clean. Human grip pinned alien bulk. Buyer caught. Salith rose. Claws out. Conspiracy ends. Kethro knelt. Ledger tumbling. Mercy. Truth first. Eli hauled the envoy up. Badge logged every second. Nima slipped forward. Vial in hand. Antidote now. Salith drank. Scales gleamed healthy. Her gaze locked on Eli. Alliance forged. Tail circled his waist. Public now. Courtiers murmured approval. Romance sealed in action. Vaska chained Kethro. Human normal. Extraordinary. But the envoy laughed. Network larger. Queen falls tomorrow. Door exploded. Armed shadows poured in. Bigger threat inbound. Eli gripped the gift case tighter as he rounded the corner into the xenobiology wing. Palace drones hummed overhead, scanning for unauthorized biomatter. He kept his pace steady. Human casual not guilty sprint. A Veyran guard straightened at the junction. Liaison Mercer. Declare parcel Sato, Eli said. He flipped the case open a crack. Foam bars gleamed under sterile light. No vial visible. Earth hygiene protocol. Non-toxic, certified. The guard's crest flickered blue. Scanning. Eli held his breath. The sample sloshed silently inside the hollowed soap bar, swiped from the Queen's bath after his accidental intrusion. One wrong ping, and interspecies diplomacy cratered. Clear. The guard waved him through. Eli exhaled. He slipped into Sato's lab. Hollow screens flickered with alien genome maps. Dr. Nima Sato looked up from her analyzer. Glasses perched on her nose. Eli. Door sealed. She tapped a panel. Lock hissed. He set the case down. Bath, residue. Queen looked off during the ritual, scales dulling. Thought it was cultural, but Sato pried open the soap bar with gloved fingers. The vial emerged, shimmering with iridescent fluid. The smart hide. Let's scan. She slotted it into the rapid analyzer. Machine word. Eli leaned in. Badge mic active for record. Screen bloomed. Molecular helixes twisting. Sato's eyes narrowed. Not natural. Engineered symbiont spores. Parasitic. Keyed to Salith's pheromones. Hers alone. Eli's gut tightened. Weaponized. Assassin grade. Ingested via bath salts or steam. Colonizes the crest neural tissue. Slow paralysis. Then organ shutdown. Mimics cleansing fatigue. Perfect cover for palace rites. Sato isolated a spore cluster. Hollow zoomed. Barbs latched to hormone receptors. Sivrin Qual's signature mods. Alchemist priest touch.
He's got lab access. Eli pulled his translator pad.
Screen captured the readout. He tapped encryption. Folded data into a dummy language file labeled Veyron idioms update. Untraceable unless someone cracked human ciphers. Send to my secure relay, Sato said. I'll synth antidote prototype. But Queen needs this now. Eli nodded. On it, Kethro's eyes everywhere. He's blocking my audiences. Alarms blipped. Corridor patrol inbound. Sato palmed the vial into a cryoseal. Go. Back door. Eli pocketed the pad and bolted. Service vents clanged behind him. He emerged in the royal wing, heart pounding. Courtiers milled, crests pulsing gossip colors. His badge pinged. Tracker live. Courtesy of Vascajern's security upgrade. A shadow fell. Kethro blocked the hall. Ledger clutched like a shield. Mercer, the queen rests. No disturbances. Translation backlog. Eli lied smooth. Urgent file drop. Kethro's tail lashed. Protocol says. Eli sidestepped. Badge logs approve. He flashed it. Kethro's eyes darted, calculating. Fine. 5 minutes. The chamberlain stepped aside. Smile too thin. Eli entered the antechamber. Salith's guards parted. No queen on throne. Whispers from nobles. Human blunder in baths yesterday. Queen humiliated. He clenched jaw. His stumble through the private steam vents, chasing a servant anomaly, exposed her ritual. Naked vulnerability. Scales shedding toxin. She'd hissed mercy, but trust sparked in her gaze. A claw tapped his shoulder. Salith loomed behind, robe swirling. Aid. Aid with me. She yanked him into a storage alcove off the hall. Shelves crammed with rite vials and incense. Doors slid shut. Space shrank, forced close. Her crest glowed faint, inches from his face. Heat radiated off her scales. Ellie swallowed. Majesty the sample. Her tail coiled his leg, steadying. Quiet, Sivrin spies. She pressed her crest to his palm. Neural link fired. Biometric stamp burned in. Data flooded his pad. Override codes for palace vents. Guard rosters. Alchemist logs. Your honesty, she murmured. Voice low, resonant. Humans fix without fanfare. My court schemes. He met her eyes. Golden slits dilating. Engineered. Yours only. Bath ritual poisoned. Sivrin's work. Her claws flexed on his arm. Grip firm. Not painful. New fatigue lied. But proof. Crest pulsed brighter against his skin. Bond sealed. Covert authority granted. Eli synced the decrypted file. Holo projected between them. Spore helix. Hormone lock. Antidote viable, but network deeper. Kethro controls access. Envoy inbound tomorrow. Off-world buyer. Salith's tail tightened around his waist. Public taboo. Private anchor. Conspiracy aims throne. My weakness. State secret. Infertile line. Spores amplify. Force abdication. Eli's mind raced. Human normal. Evidence first. We log vents blind spots. Badge trackers expose routes. Vasca owes me. Security drill favor. She leaned closer. Breath ghosted his neck. Pheromone spike hitting his senses like ozone. You saw me bare. No shame now. Alliance. Lips brushed his palm. Crest link deepened. Romance ignited in the crush of shelves. Her scales brushed his chest, warm and yielding. Footsteps outside. Kethro's voice. Majesty. Acolyte waits for cleansing. Salith released. Eyes fierce. Investigate. Night Council. Expose. Eli nodded. Pad secured. He slipped out, Kethro's glare boring in. Back in corridors, Vascajern intercepted. Security captain's armor gleamed. Mercer. Badge pinged alcove. Queen's orders? Translation. Eli flashed stamped palm. Crest mark glowed. Vasca's crest flared respect. Human discretion. Extraordinary. She handed a grid map. East vents unmonitored. Sivrin's cache there. Eli pocketed it. Puzzle clicked. Smuggle done. Proof armed. But as he turned, Sivrin Qual passed, smiling wide. Vial tucked in sleeve. Alchemist priest's eyes lingered. Fresh soap scent. Liaison. Careful with alien baths. Chill hit. Larger web. Eli reported to Sato's relay. Spores confirmed plot. Queen authorized. Rendezvous dawn. Antidote run. Her reply pinged. Grid shows envoy docking. Armed? He glanced back. Palace thrummed. Horns warming for council. Salith's tail memory lingered on his skin. Conspiracy cracked open. But Sivrin's smile promised fangs. In the throne shadows, Kethro flipped his ledger. A new entry. Human asset. Human neutralize. Eli's badge hummed warning. Tracker live. Hunt began. Eli gripped the humming hand vacuum tighter. As Queen Salith's chamber door hissed open, he stepped into the steam-filled bath. Sato's saline vials clinking in his pack. Cultural exchange, Majesty. Human spa demo. Your protocols cleared it. Salith rose from the steaming pool, water sheeting off her iridescent scales. Her crest flared gold, eyes locking on the device. Enter Eli Mercer. Show me this grooming tech. Kethro logs it as Alliance training. No alarms. He nodded, pulse racing. The grid map burned in his pocket. East vents hid Sivrin's spore cache. One sweep, and they'd have proof for the Night Council. Her tail brushed his leg as she gestured to the mosaic walls, vents glowing faintly blue. Trust hummed between them, deeper since the alcove crush. Eli knelt by the pool edge, flicking the vacuum switch. It whirred to life, filter mesh rigged inside to trap microscopic spores. Humans use suction for exfoliation. Removes dead skin, pollen, anything airborne. He swept it near a vent, pretending casual demo. Air hissed in, mesh glowing as it snagged glittering particles. Salith leaned close, breath warm on his neck. Efficient. Our rights bind spores to biofilm for cleansing. Yours steals them? Her claws traced the vacuum's casing, lingering on his knuckles. Heat sparked. Her scales pressed his arm, steals and contains. Eli angled toward the east vent. Watch. Were intensified. Blue haze pulled in, mesh clogging with evidence. Her scent, ozone, and salt filled his lungs. Proximity forced his focus. One wrong move, and Kethro's ledger flipped from asset to threat. Footsteps echoed outside. Salith's crest dimmed. Sivrin. Early. The door panel flared red. Alchemist priest's voice purred through. Majesty? Cleansing rite prepped. Acolyte stands ready. Eli froze. Vacuum humming. Salith's hand clamped his shoulder. Proceed, Mercer. He observes. Door slid open. Sivrin glided in, robe swirling, smile too wide. Vial gleamed in his sleeve. Human toy in sacred bath, bold. Eyes flicked to the vacuum, then vents. Protocol demands purity. Salith straightened, voice steel. Alliance exchange. Mercer demonstrates. Join, priest, or log it. Sivrin bowed, crest flickering unease. He circled, claws tapping mosaic, as you command. Fingers brushed a wall panel. Subtle pulse rippled. Bath defenses hummed alive. Eli's badge buzzed warning. Vents shrieked. Biofilm erupted from walls, pink tendrils shrieking like pierced membranes. Slime flooded the chamber, coiling toward Salith. Spores bloomed thick, air turning toxic haze. Defense pulse! Salith snarled, shoving Eli back. Tendrils lashed her tail, pinning her scales. Sivrin, counter it! Priest feigned shock, retreating. Overgrowth! Human device triggered it. Smile cracked, triumph underneath. Eli yanked the vacuum hose free, mesh half full of spores. Biofilm screamed louder, walls pulsing. It gripped Salith's legs, dragging her down. No time for subtlety. He ripped open Sato's kit. Saline vials glinted. Saline disrupts it, Eli shouted, ripping caps. Salith thrashed, claws scoring slime. Her eyes met his, fierce trust. He lunged to the east vent intake, dumping vials straight in. Salty flood surged through pipes. Biofilm hissed, tendrils convulsing. Shriek peaked, then sputtered. Slime peeled from walls, retreating into vents with wet slurps. Salith broke free, gasping. Eli vacuumed the residue, mesh overflowing. Sivrin bolted for the door. Vascajurin burst through, armor blocking him. Capt, Salith commanded, dripping saline. Detain the priest. Spores in Mercer's device. Plot evidence. Vaska's crest flared, stun prod humming. She pinned Sivrin face down. Chain of command yields to Queen's word. Evidence? Ellie held up the vacuum. Mesh glowed with trapped spores, vials of pure conspiracy. Matches Sato scans. Sivrin writhed. Smile gone. Lies. Ritual mishap. Salith snatched Eli's wrist, palm pressing his stamped crest. Link deepened. Warmth flooded. Truth. Night Council convenes now. Mercer stands witness. Vaska hauled Sivrin out. Kethro appeared in the doorway. Ledger clutched. Eyes darted. Glare fixed on Eli. Human. Saved the right. Log doc. Eli exhaled. Vacuum whirring down. Salith pulled him close, scales brushing his chest. You fought our slime with tools and salt. Humble genius. Lips grazed his jaw. Spark ignited. Heat rose. Her tail coiled his waist, forced proximity electric. Alliance sealed, she murmured. But Kethro watches. Eli nodded. Pack secure. Proof bagged, but ledger entry loomed. Footsteps retreated. Palace horns blared council call. Sato's relay pinged in his ear. Envoy docked. Armed guards inbound. Spores match. Antidote ready. Eli pocketed the vacuum. Sivrin's web cracked, but fangs lingered. Salith's grip tightened. Romance burned amid intrigue. They slipped into corridors, her hand in his. Vaska flanked them. Grid map shared. East cache cleared. Trapped. Eli glanced back. Kethro vanished into shadows. Ledger flipping, council chamber loomed. Doors parted on throne dais. Nobles crested in salute. Salith ascended, pulling Eli beside her. No protocol breach now. Conclave, she declared. Sivrin's coup. Exposed. Human aid proves packed. Murmurs rippled. Sivrin dragged in chains, snarling. The outsider defiles rights. Eli unpacked the mesh. Spores swirled holographic. Sato's voice patched in. Xenobiology confirms. Lethal dose for Queen's lineage. Gasps echoed. Vasta presented vials from Sivrin's robes. Matches glowed. Kethro stepped forward. Voice smooth. Majesty? The human's badge? Tampered? My logs. Salith's tail lashed. Your logs hide alibis, Chamberlain. Vaska. Search his ledgers. Vaska complied, ripping pages. Forged entries tumbled. Neutralize asset. Betrayal landed. Kethro's crest collapsed. For the old rights. Human taint. Guards swarmed. Eli stood firm. Salith's crest linking his palm. Her gaze held his. Vulnerability bare. Bond intimate. Council erupted cheers. Alliance forged in slime and salt. But as horns faded, Eli's badge hummed again. New ping. Envoy captain requests audience. With human demands. Salith squeezed his hand. They come for you. We face together. Eli met her eyes. Conspiracy deeper. Hunt far from over. Her scales warmed his skin. Romance amid fangs. Eli's fingers flew across the mesh pad, unlocking the encrypted files. Holographic spores bloomed above the midnight council table, casting green flickers on scaled faces. Queen Salith's tail curled tight beside him on the dais. Nobles leaned forward, crests flaring. Translation audit, Silith declared, her voice slicing the murmurs. Human liaison Mercer verifies palace logs. Proceed. Eli nodded, pulse steady. He tapped play. A grainy feed unspooled. Sivrin call in shadowed alcoves, vial in claw, dosing ritual pools. Timestamps glowed. Midnight cleansings. Queen's private bath. Gasps rippled. Sivrin's chains rattled from the guard's grip. Defiler. The human twists sacred rites. Quiet. Boska Jern barked. Her security crest rigid. She synced her grid pad to Eli's display. Access log scrolled. Sivrin's overrides. Every right entry. Eli matched timestamps aloud. Sample video. Cycle 47. Sub-level 9. Log confirms. Alchemist priest entry. No witnesses. Toxin profile from Dr. Sato. Lethal to royal lineage. Sato's voice patched through, calm as a lab readout. Confirmed. Spores target Salith's biology. Slow acting. Reversible with human synthesized binder. Kethro surged from his seat. Ledger clutched. Majesty, this insults protocol. His claw slammed a hidden panel. Lights flickered. Power conduits hummed low. Chamber feeds dying. Eli's badge pinged warning. Data wipe incoming. He jammed his mesh into the override port. Sparks flew. Not today. Backup hologram stabilized, pulling from his off-grid cache. Salith's gaze locked on Kethro. Treachery exposed, Chamberlain. Your alibis end here. Boska lunged. She ripped the ledger free, pages scattering like shed scales, forged entries burned into view. Neutralize asset, Queen compromised. Kethro's crest wilted, but his claw darted to a wrist panel. Emergency purge signal flared. Eli yanked his own badge. hacked envoy freak, and broadcast the logs wide. Palace arrays locked. No erase. Vaska pinned Sivrin first, arrested for conspiracy. Evidence chains you. She cuffed the alchemist priest. Vials clinking from his robes. Matches glowed under scan. Exact toxin batch. Sivrin spat. Old rites demand purity. Human filth poisons her. Council nobles hissed approval as guards dragged him out. Kethro bolted for the shadows, but Vaska's team swarmed. You too, Chamberlain. Logs don't lie. Eli exhaled, mesh secure. Salith rose, her presence filling the dais. Silence fell. She extended her crest hand, scales shimmering under the restored lights. Warmth pulsed from her palm to his, intimate link, vulnerability bare. Council witnesses, she intoned. Eli Mercer saves my line. I offer formal bond pact. Protection binds us. Cross-species alliance. Crest to palm, eternal. Murmurs swelled to cheers. Nobles saluted, tails thrashing. Eli felt her scales against his skin, a faint electric hum sinking their pulses. Her eyes held his, sharp duty softened by something raw. He clasped her hand firm. Alliance meant survival. For her throne, his contract, this fragile bridge. But humans fixed problems blunt. I accept, Eli said, voice carrying. One condition. Full access. No more hidden rights or logs. We solve threats together. Your skills. My fixes. Transparent. Her crest flared brighter, tail brushing his leg. Surprise flickered in her gaze. Then resolve. Agreed. Human honesty seals it. Council erupted. Horns blared victory. Vaska nodded respect, hauling Kethro away. Sato's feed crackled, binder en route. She's stable. Eli held Salith's gaze amid the chaos. Her scales warmed deeper, bond tightening. Romance sparked in that touch, fangs and all. But his badge hummed again. New ping. Envoy captain demands audience. Human extraction protocol. With leverage. Salith squeezed his hand. They come for you. Eli grinned faint. We face them, together. Doors boomed open. Envoy shadows loomed. Ellie stepped forward. Salith at his side, proof clutched tight. Her hand in his. Alliance tested anew. The envoy captain strode in, flanked by armored humans. Mercer, embassy recall. Immediate. Eli didn't flinch. Not without her. Salith's tail lashed once. He stays. Bond pact invokes mutual defense. Captain's eyes narrowed on their linked hands. Earth says otherwise. Diplomatic incident brewing. Vaska gripped her stun rod. Nobles bristled. Eli pulled the mesh feed live, coop evidence streaming to embassy channels. Watch this first, then talk. Holo bloomed. Sivrin's dosing. Kethro's wipes. Captain's face hardened. What the hell is this? Conspiracy, Eli said. Queen's life, my fix. Earth's rep on the line. Salith leaned close, breath warm on his neck. Human demands sway even envoys. Captain paused, scanning data, verified. Stand down, team, provisional hold. Cheers reignited. But Eli caught the captain's side glance. Encrypted burst to off-world. Deeper players stirred. Salith's crest pulsed against his palm. Your condition holds. Transparency wins. Eli nodded, her scales grounding him. Fish out of water? Maybe, but this water just got friendlier. Hours blurred into strategy. Vaska mapped envoy grids. Sato dialed binders. Eli synced human tech to palace arrays. No more blindsides. Salith pulled him aside in the antechamber. Door sealed. Proximity forced close, her scent like salt and storm. You turned humiliation to this, she murmured. Crest traced his wrist. Honest intrusion saved me. Eli met her eyes. Just solve the problem. Your rituals? We'll adapt. No secrets. Her laugh hummed low, tail coiling his ankle. Cultural shock fades. Bond grows. Lips brushed scales to skin. First intimate press. Eli's hand cupped her crest. Heat dilt, fangs grazing gentle. Alarm blared. Vaska's voice. Envoy. Reinforcements inbound. Demands escalate. Salith broke away. Eyes fierce. Together. Eli grabbed the mesh. Always. They charged back. Alliance ignited, slime, salt, and human grit. Council reconvened at dawn. Envoy Captain returned. Data slate extended. Earth concedes. Joint op. But Mercer leads human contingent. Salith's hand found allies again. Accepted. Nobles bowed. Bosca saluted. Deeper conspiracy uncoiled. Old rights hid worse. Eli felt her pulse sank his. Romance forged in crisis. Humans fixed. Aliens endured. Together, unstoppable. Badge pinged final. Off-world signal traced. Sivrin's true master. Rival Hive Lord. Hunt launched. Per scales on his skin. Promise held.